All right, so we're just quickly going over the rules that we learned in class today. And we can write this as 53 plus negative 67, or you might see it as 53 minus 67. Both of these are representing the exact same thing. And remember, when we're doing this, we're going to think about, well, what is disregard the signs, and we're taking the absolute value of the numbers and say, well, what is the value, absolute value of each number? So it's 53 and 67. And then from there, we take the larger number at that point. When we think about them in terms of absolute value without their signs, well, then we take the larger number and we subtract the smaller one. All right, and then this way we can do it in a way that you have learned in the past that we feel more comfortable with doing. And this will then give me 14. But once we get that final answer, we then need to go back and say, well, which number was actually larger? Well, the 67 was, and what was its sign? Its sign was negative. That means we started with more negatives than we did with positives. So our final answer must also be negative because our larger number, quote unquote, larger number was negative. So then that means that we had more negatives. So just think about if you owed someone $67 and you paid them back $53, well, you haven't fully paid them back yet. You still owe them $14. So you are still negative $14. All right. But when we're doing these, we can just go ahead and say, okay, let's set it up in a way that we're comfortable and used to doing. And we can disregard the signs, take the absolute values and say, well, which one's larger? And then we do the smaller number minus the larger number minus the smaller number. And then go back and say, well, that larger number had a negative to begin with. So it's negative. And if it was 67 minus 53, well, this is already one that you know how to do. So you just do it the regular way. Our answer is 14, and we know that we had more positives to begin with, so our answer would have been positive at the end.